Hello, you guys. One second. I'm trying to let me know if you can hear me. I know I can't hear anything. My audio is not right. So give me just one second. How are you guys? Let's see if this will work. Mhm. Oh my gosh. One second. Let's see if this one will work. I cannot believe as soon as I started to go live, the sound went out. And I'm like, uh, we have a problem. Good thing I started early. Let's see. I think I got it. Okay. Now, I have to wear these goofy looking headphones, so don't laugh at me, but okay, it's working. Yay. Okay. It is working. Hello, you guys. I had to wear Bentley's headphones. Oh my gosh. Good thing I started early because we have a few minutes. So it looks like there's a press conference. There's some interesting updates too. Apparently, the police helicopter spotted him, and oh my gosh. And he tried to dodge them. So I want to show you some things. We're waiting for this. The press conference will be right here on their live TV here at the bottom. So we'll tune into that at 7. But before then, let's take a look at this. Manhunt moves to Washington's Kittitas County. Hopefully, you guys can hear me okay. Hey, Mo. By the way, Mo, thank you so much for letting B Crumbs know about the press conference. So I knew about the other updates, but I didn't know that. So I appreciate that. And let me drop Mo's link. You guys go check out her channel. She covers all kinds of stuff that isn't getting covered, and she does a great job. This case has broken my heart. Human faith. I know. It's awful. Hey, Kathy Pointer. Kate, so happy to see you. Cicely. Hey, Kelly. TK, good to see you. Hey, Teacup. Everybody, thank you guys for being here. Can't believe I got to wear Bentley's headphones, but at least they're nice ones. So, hey, Crochet Lover. They're pretty comfortable. All right, so listen to this, to what happened. This is so interesting. So, it says the extensive search for triple homicide suspect Travis Decker has entered its second week, prompting the sheriff's office to escalate its operational presence across the Tianawe Valley. I'm probably saying that wrong, and surrounding backcountry. Law enforcement sources told Fox 13 that deputies are strategically positioning specialized tactical teams and canine units along U.S. Highway 97 and near the Enchantment foothills, aiming to narrow his potential escape routes. Now, he was an infantry in the U.S. Army. I'll skip this part because we're going to talk about that. I found a video I want to show you. I think that we have maybe some misinformation regarding what exactly he did in the Army, but we'll get to that after our updates. So, authorities closing in on Decker. Authorities said they believe they spotted Travis Decker, an ex-soldier wanted in the deaths of his 3 daughters near a remote alpine lake in Washington state after receiving a tip from hikers who said they saw a lone person who appeared to be ill-prepared for conditions. So, other hikers called in and gave a tip that they saw this guy who was not prepared for the conditions. He didn't seem like he fit really, like he should be out there, right? Ill prepared for the conditions. Now, the sheriff's office said in a Facebook post yesterday that tracking teams responded immediately, and a helicopter crew spotted a hiker near Kolchuk Lake in a popular Cascade Range backpacking area called the Enchantments. The off-trail hiker ran from sight as the helicopter passed, the sheriff's office said. Teams later found a trail, and canine teams tracked the person to this particular area south of Leavenworth. So they get a report that there's somebody out there hiking who doesn't seem like he's prepared to be out there hiking, and then the helicopter spots somebody who, when they see the helicopter, they run and hide. I thought that was so interesting. So I think he's out there. I think he's out there trying to survive, and yeah, I have faith that they're going to find him. I really do. So our press conference doesn't start until 7. Let's go over to this video I found that talks about a former squad member gives insight on his past. This is actually also Fox 13. They're great. They do a really great job. Okay. He's definitely alive out there. Yep. He will get careless, Jenny said. And Jenny, I know, I like to hear what you have to say about this kind of stuff, because I'll just tell you guys, she has an educated opinion. Okay, so I'm going to turn this off. Just 1 second. I pressed a button. I want to fix my hair. If I got to wear these headphones, I got to get a ponytail. Hopefully you guys can still hear me okay. All right. This is only a 2-minute video. So Mo said, I think it's about 12 miles from the crime scene. I can't do maps well, though. I am terrible with that stuff. I can't either. Okay. Now, all right, let's take a look at this video. Maybe like this? No.
Our coverage continues now with Fox 13's Alejandra Guzman. Everyone is anxiously trying to learn more about Travis Decker.
Yeah, so Ali, you've been in contact with somebody who was in the same Army platoon as Travis Decker. So what are they telling you?
Well, they're sharing quite a bit. I can tell you that there's more clarity now as to who he is, his personality these last few years, and some of his recent behavior following this tragedy. Now, the individual who I've been speaking with does want to remain anonymous, but they did share these.
I don't know. Is it cracking for you guys? Maybe it's the headphones. I don't know, but I can definitely hear a weird cracking. But okay, here we go.
These images of Decker back from 2017 after they were finishing a march in Europe. The two were in the same squad, in the same platoon, in the same company, while they were stationed together in the 503rd Airborne Brigade combat team with the 173rd Airborne in Italy. They tell me Decker.
Why is it cracking like that? No, not for you. Okay, well, good then. Stephanie says, I'm educated too, have a psych degree. And I know that Kathy has a psych degree as well. Tess too. Hey, Sarah Bellum. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Wolfie. Jenny has more along the line of law enforcement. I don't want to give anybody's business, but I'll just say educated in that line of work. Kathy, there you are. They can use thermal imaging in the woods where the alleged hiker was seen. Cinder, thank you. Nice to see your beautiful face to go with your lovely voice. Prayers they find him. I lost my oldest son. I can't imagine losing all my children. Prayers for the mother and her family. I'm so sorry, Cinder. Sorry to hear that. Okay. I can't imagine, because what a loss. No parent should ever bury their child, and especially all of their children. It's just terrible.
Was kicked out of Ranger Regiment for failing Ranger School. Now, many of you have been questioning whether or not he was a Ranger. We've all seen some of the same photos of Decker in his uniform with a Ranger patch, but according to my source, he wasn't, because after getting kicked out, that's when Decker was transferred to their platoon.
So he wasn't actually a Ranger. He got kicked out of Ranger school. I mean, he still went to school, but I thought that was very interesting.
And that's where they shared a little bit more about who he was, just saying that he was a fit but quiet guy, sort of an outcast, yet a hard worker and a bit of a narcissist. They tell me by this time, Decker and Whitney already had their firstborn, Peyton. Decker eventually did warm up to his comrades, sharing that he aspired to be like his father and talked about getting back to Special Forces, but they say he never did. They say it was like Decker had...
So he aspired to be like his father and wanted to be in Special Forces, but never made it there.
Some big shoes to fill. From what they know, his father was a Green Beret and he worshipped him. They did remain friends on social media, but they say that after these murder and kidnapping accusations, Will Decker actually deleted all of his videos and pictures and started...
So his father was a Green Beret. That is so interesting. That's pretty much it. We'll get back to this because we're waiting for the press conference. Let's go down to their live footage. There are so many of you guys educate. Like, I'm telling you, the chat is far more educated than I am. I love having these conversations with you guys because as I see, well, Kate said a psycho degree, but so many of you guys have psych degrees, ex-law enforcement, things like that. And yeah, I just appreciate you guys being here and giving your feedback. Okay.
Handled by Mia Hammett, just
Live.
1963, Brian met Marilyn Rovell. The two fell in love and were married a year later. They had two daughters, Carney and Wendy.
I will just mute it until we get to the press conference. Jordan says, I feel like our military do not get the help they need. And no, they don't. That's the problem. According to, actually, one of the articles I grabbed, we'll look at the end, gives a lot more details. The Whitney's attorney has spoken out and given a lot of information. I want to show you guys that. But one of the things that she had said that we had previously read was that he was trying to get help. He was trying to get help from the VA. He was trying to get help from a veterans crisis line. I mean,
we start with breaking news today. The manhunt for triple murder suspect Travis Decker has extended into Kittitas County.
Now, we have brand new video of Kittitas deputies searching both in the backcountry and along US 97 today. We are now entering week 2 of this massive manhunt, which has only grown since the bodies of Decker's 3 daughters were found at a campground outside of Leavenworth. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us for Fox 13 News at 4. I'm Matthew Smith.
And I'm Hannah Kim. This new development comes right before a press conference to update the public, and that's set to start any minute now. Is there covering it all? Allie, what else do we know ahead of this press conference?
Why we're here?
Yeah, Hannah, actually, we're going to chime in to Sheriff Morrison now because he's actually speaking. Let's
continue to inspire our agency
here we go.
to seek justice and be their voice. Our thoughts and prayers go out to their family. We continue to keep in communication with them and make sure that we remind them we have not given up. We've seen the amount of resources that we've deployed over the last 10 days, working with our federal, state, and international partners to ensure that justice is brought for their deaths. So again, I appreciate everyone being here. I want to give an update where we're at with our investigation, how our proceedings are going. At this time, the Chelan County Sheriff's Office is going to deviate our resources back to the investigation, working closely with the Chelan County Prosecutor's Office to ensure our case for murder and kidnapping are ready to go, ready to be presented, while our partners with the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol is going to continue to keep their units on the ground, conducting the search, overdoing the search, while we come alongside them. Our U.S. Forest Service deputy is out with them today, also helping them navigate some of our unique terrain over in the west end of our county. So we have not given up, but we understand that eventually resources start to tire out. This is like a fire that we've seen within our county numerous times. We usually see these teams rotating out after 2 weeks. We understand that we've pushed the men and women of our agency hard, along with the men and women of the Washington State Patrol, FBI, U.S. Marshal Service, Rivercom, our dispatch center also being stressed. So we recognize that we need to be reasonable, need to give them the opportunity to rest up and get ready for the second wave when we come in. Clearly, we understand that our investigation has evolved and it has matured, and with that comes a change in situation, which is going to come a change in tactics. You will see a change in our tactics as we proceed forward. You will not see the amount of resources that we have had out there, but you are seeing a different element of our approach as we continue to track down Travis, following the leads, and making it very clear that every single day Travis is out there, he's going to have to aim for perfection. He's not going to be able to make a mistake, because all we need this one mistake and one day to go in our favor, and he's going to be in our custody. So I hope he's watching. I hope he knows that we haven't given up. But you got to be perfect every single day, Travis. We only have to be perfect one day. So we appreciate the community coming alongside us. We cannot do it without the 80,000 plus citizens of Chelan County that have been a constant eye and vigilant force that we do not have at all times. We also appreciate our partners nationally that have come alongside us, assist us in following up leads, and not only nationally, but we've had partners as far away as Australia and Portugal that have done us the favor of being able to spread Travis's face and likeness throughout the globe to ensure that every single person knows near and far what Travis looks like. When you see him, say something to us. We want to find him. We want to bring him to justice. We want to set up the opportunity for him to stand in front of our courts and our judges and face justice and hear the voices of Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia, whose lives were senselessly taken by evil. That's all it was. We remain committed here at the Chelan County Sheriff's Office with our regional partners, the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, East Wenatchee PD, Wenatchee PD, State Patrol, to continue to pursue justice and make sure their voices are heard. You're going to hear further from our U.S. Marshal partners to kind of elaborate further on how they're going to also assist us in the tracking process.
Okay, so I'm not going to pause a lot. I don't want to say a lot, but U.S. Marshals as well.
We have not stopped our investigation, and again, we understand.
And they're
the
going to talk
results
to
from our
us.
crime lab processing from the Washington State Patrol. Thank you, Chief Batiste, for your continued assistance on this. Are starting to come back. We want to make sure those are properly processed, additional leads and interviews are conducted, and that again, our case is ready to go to court when Travis is brought to justice. So I appreciate your time. I will answer more questions, and I'm going to allow the U.S. Marshal Service to take some further questions from you, the media. But again, I appreciate all of you being here. This is the kind of group effort that's going to take to bring justice to this case. Please make sure you keep their names in your mind and that we bring justice back for those young ladies. Girls is what I've understood the family would like me to refer to them as. But they're deeply in our minds, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Chief Brown with U.S. Marshal Service, Eastern District, Washington. Appreciate everybody here, being here today. The community support from our law enforcement partners, which the sheriff has already enumerated, and you as a community has been greatly helpful to us. With that support, we're able to involve ourselves and focus on the fugitive investigation. Part of that is to include deploying our rapidly advancing manhunt program. That program brings resources from all over to include funding to support your community, the Sheriff's Department, Border Patrol, and all the other resources so we can navigate the terrain and locate and apprehend the fugitive. We will not stop. We will keep going. He just has to make one mistake, like the sheriff said. We will find him. He will be brought to justice so the community can heal. Thank you.
With that, we'll take about 5 minutes for questions for either two.
That's it?
Has Decker left any physical evidence behind any areas that you guys have received tips about?
We have found
indicating that it's him.
We have found items that are of interest to us that perceive that it could be Mr. Decker. We've also continued to follow up with some of his friends and family, and we believe that we're closing in on his trail.
Sheriff Morrison, what can you tell us about yesterday's possible sighting at Blewett Pass?
Again, this just emphasizes the importance. If you see something, say something. We're appreciative of those group of hikers that were up there, had more acknowledged us as our flight patterns were up there, and then just the behavior that we saw from the lone hiker did not match. That was typical with everyone else we were seeing up there. So again, that sparked our interest. We did put a ground unit on there to continue tracking the prints that we had. We continue to track that down in Eagles Creek and up in the Valley High area. So again, we appreciate everyone, even on the back trails. You need to remain vigilant. And again, we encourage you not to approach the subject. He is still considered dangerous, but please, we need as much information and help from the public as we can get. As we've seen in the past with other manhunts, it is going to take a group effort in a community in order to bring this to a conclusion.
Can you see what they changed from yesterday to today? It seems like you guys were close yesterday and everyone was kind of on edge. I'm just wondering, what about those tactics changed today? It seems like you guys.
No, our tactics have still continued. We still have a ground team on there. We have dogs out there that we're tracking leads. We're going through sightings. We're also doing trackings of what we have found with footprints. So nothing has changed from yesterday. We've just started to head in a different direction. So until that time, our ground units are still on the ground. We still have resources within the Chelan County Sheriff's Office pursuing that, and we'll continue to hunt. Yes, ma'am.
Concerned that he could be going a different direction towards the Tianaway Trail, towards Clayell?
Absolutely, and I've already been in contact with Kittitas County Sheriff Clay Myers this morning. We know that he has resources on the ground as well. There is nowhere that he's going to be able to go that we don't have units waiting for him. King County Sheriff's Office has already been here assisting us. Snohomish County, been in touch with Okanagan County. We have Douglas County Sheriffs in close contact. They have the Grant County Sheriff today. He is surrounded. Washington State knows who he is. We're going to continue to be in there, and he's got a lot of ground to cover. Eventually, he's going to tire, and he's going to make a mistake.
How confident are you that that lone hiker you guys spotted is Travis Decker?
We feel pretty confident that it could be him, but again, we're not going to ever go out and say 100% until we have him in our grip.
Sheriff Morrison, when the dogs find Decker, how does that process work after that?
Again, Mr. Decker is going to be able to dictate how this ends. We've encouraged him time and time again to give up, do so peacefully. That's what we're aiming for. But again, Mr. Decker is going to be the one who's going to dictate how this ends. We do not just deploy dogs, just to deploy dogs. They're there to assist us in a tracking process and, of course, to protect the handlers. But he's going to be given the same professional courtesy as any other citizen within Washington State or the United States. We're going to follow de-escalation principles that are followed here in Washington State. We're going to communicate. We're going to do contact and cover, maintain our distance. Our intent is not to hurt or injure him. It is to bring him to justice and make sure that he's in good shape so he can face the trial.
Have you learned anything as far as motive goes?
Nope. And again, I've said it before, I don't think the motive would even matter. As far as we see it, 3 young girls have been killed. I don't think the motive is going to matter.
Are there any updated pictures of the gun or any game camera footage or hikers?
We're continuing to reach out and talk to different residents throughout the Valley High and the Ingalls Creek area to see if they do have any cameras mounted in their house. Again, the most recent photos we had is what we've shared, and that was a couple days before he went off grid and, of course, was last seen up the icicle.
Have there been any found supply caches, reported burglaries, and why do you think Decker is now armed?
I don't think any information is put out that he's armed, but I mean, I certainly feel that he is dangerous. If any of you remember the search that we had about 1.5 years, 2 years ago in Kittitas County, we recognized that subject was raiding campgrounds. He had broken into the Liberty grocery store. So again, if you're out there and you notice that you have a vacation home out there or campsite, we want you to keep track of your supplies, of your cabins. If you do have things that are missing, even if it's minor items. In that case, in the previous manhunt, we do know they were just taking a couple items out. We're attentive and realizing how many supplies they had. This could be a way that he could continue.
I think it's Sheriff Morrison. I'm trying to read his name.
Continue his path out there.
So no biggest challenge right now for you guys?
Terrain. I mean, we have a very unique terrain when you get to the west end of our county. Again, I mentioned it before, 87% of our county is not accessible by road. If you go out there, it's steep terrain. It's heavily wooded. It's not the easiest to access. We have the Pacific Crest Trail, but another unique feature we do have in our favor is that we are a tourist destination. So we have a lot of people out there also recreating on those trails. So we're encouraging them, if you are going to come here, of course, be safe, but help us be those additional eyes and let him know that he has no safe spot to go.
Sheriff, was there a barricaded suspect situation last night on Field Pass? Was that related at all?
We did get a call of a potential subject that was in a residence up in the Valley High area. Based off the information we got from our sergeant that briefed the administration here, that did not come out to be a valid call. But again, we're going to continue to handle every single lead that we get as a valid complaint. New tactics as in searching and or in how we contact people? Okay. So, I mean, anyone that had been following Washington State law over here over the last several years, of course, we have Washington State's de-escalate Washington, which was I-940. And, of course, it's just how we contact. I mean, we're going to control our pace when we're out there. We're working on contact and cover officers. We've invested heavily, thanks to our county commissioners and other federal partners, with less lethal tools. Again, we're not looking to injure anybody. We just want to take the subject into custody and make sure he stands trial.
I know there's state, local, and federal agencies. Are you guys working with any?
You talk about which partners we have? Sorry, getting a little bit of background. Yeah.
Are you guys working with any?
A little bit.
I did have contact today with some enforcement agents up in Canada. We continue to work with our prosecutor's office on that front. But again, we've appreciated all the assistance we've had internationally and nationally assisting us. I mean, we're a medium-sized agency, and we recognize without the support of our partners federally, state, and locally, we certainly would have a unique challenge that I don't think we'd be able to take on by ourselves. So we're thankful for that.
One more question, please. One more reopening Icicle Road.
Icicle Road was already opened back up. I know the U.S. Forest Service, who's also been one of our partners we've been communicating with, has put out in their press releases that the enchantments is open again. Again, we'd encourage people to be cautious when they're out there. It is a very wide open terrain, and now you have the potential of a subject who is perceived to be dangerous out there as well that's unaccounted for. So come prepared and know that if there's lots of other places here in Washington State you can recreate. Of course, we want you to come here and visit Chelan County, but if you do so, please be careful. We appreciate it. Thank you for your time. Okay, with that, we'll conclude today's press conference. For our media partners that are here, if you haven't, I have a media contact list I'd like to have updated so I can send out the most up-to-date information. Currently, we don't have another press conference scheduled, but do keep an eye out on our social media platforms and upcoming.
Very interesting. We have a lot to talk about. So I had a lot I wanted to show you before I knew about the press conference, just more from his wife that I think is interesting that we should talk about. But, I don't know how I'm feeling about this. I got to be honest. I'm kind of like, why did we even have a press conference? And maybe I'm wrong. And you should, I don't know. There was nothing huge that wasn't already put out there. So maybe there's another reason why it's important to do this, just getting his face out there on the news and that kind of thing. And I'm kind of not seeing that because I'm not law enforcement. I don't have experience with that. But Kelly, I'm adding this guy to my hall pass list right up top next to Channing and Dave Matthews. Guess what? I went to college at the same college where Channing Tatum went in West Virginia. You can Google it and find pictures of him at Glenville State College. And yeah, when I was there, it was crazy to imagine that he was at the same college at one point, but he played football there. Okay. Maybe for a panicked public. Oh, thank you, Hazel Eyes. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Let's see what else you guys have to say. I think his wife is being nice to try to get him to come forward. I've seen a couple other people say that. Don't be sorry, Mo. Again, thank you for letting me know that it was even happening. And I want to drop your link again if you guys haven't followed Mo. She covers all kinds of true crime stuff, many cases that you really don't see anywhere. It's an important channel. I think important what you're doing. That sheriff can do a press conference any day he wants. Has anyone ever heard of the Robert Fisher case? So similar. No, I don't think so, Faye. I haven't heard of that. Okay, so let's go over here. I'm going to make it bigger and make myself smaller again. And I wanted to read this to you guys. It's way more in depth, with the wife than what Annie than what we had seen before. Annie says, "You Morrison wives." Oh my God. Oh, thank you, Mo. He said the act was evil. I saw you point that out, ASB. Not mentally ill. I thought that was interesting. Jenny, they actually do a press conference about every 3 to 4 days when they are involved in a manhunt. Is that just for the publicity? Oh, Pointer Lover, I'm glad you dropped that. So, you guys, I have a second channel called Real Talk with Alex, and I have some things I want to talk about. I go over there and talk about whether it's stuff going on in the true crime community, celebrity drama. We talked about the lolcow community over there, aliens, secrets to the universe, psychics with true crime, just literally everything. And I do a thing over there called responding to rude comments, and I have some comments saved up that I would like to respond to, and maybe one or two that weren't even on my channel. Okay, I'll just say that. We're going to talk about it soon. So if you are interested in that, go check out more. It's pinned at the top of the chat. Also, if I sound a little funny, I had dental work today and I'm still kind of numb. So I don't know. I feel like it sounds funny to me. Yes, they do it mostly for the public to keep it fresh in everyone's mind and to keep his face out there. I'm back. Yes, I do. Something to talk about with Broken Justice. Gosh, I don't think your link is in there, but Woofy, will you drop Broken Justice's link? Just because I don't know if you're even doing any lives, but I know that you were. Okay, so bereaved mother of girls, ex-wife of suspect. Travis loved those girls and Jesus. So again, this is from her attorney, Ariana. Now, We talked about this. I'm going to make a playlist. If you haven't seen my last coverage on this, this is the same attorney that represented Whitney when they were in family court. And the local news actually got the records from their time in family court, and we went over that here. But she spoke to CBS 2, and she said, this is a lot. It's long, so we'll go piece by piece. She says, and she calls him an Army Ranger too. That's so interesting. So she says, Whitney and Travis were married for a little over 7 years. When they met, Travis had just gotten back from a tour in Afghanistan as an Army Ranger. He seemed to suffer from mental health issues from the very beginning, assumably related to PTSD as a result of combat. Travis was not a violent man with Whitney or the girls ever. His mental health struggles led to the crumbling of their marriage in 2022. Travis attempted at times to get help through the VA, but could not jump through all of the hoops they required to actually get help. And it comes from the other statement where we saw that he had tried to get help with the VA in the crisis line, I believe, but it's definitely in my past videos. When talking with law enforcement about the things that Travis cared about, she said, Travis loved those girls and Jesus. Travis was a present and active father up until the end, still attending the girls' soccer games, dance, and theater productions. Although Travis was struggling with his own mental health, he was a good co-parent, always communicating frequently with Whitney up until Friday evening when the girls went missing. He always answered his phone, always communicated if he was on his way or if they were going to be a few minutes late, and always responded to her text. So he had a habit of never doing this, never not responding. He was a good co-parent, she said, even though in the court history, we saw that Whitney has had actually, a lot of people want to say, why did she send her kids with him at all? Well, she tried not to. She asked the judge that he only get supervised visitation. The judge denied that. She had to do it. This wasn't, she had already taken it to court and brought her concerns to court where the judge said, no, he will get them Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, few hours at a time, no overnight visits. But they didn't do the supervised visitation. So she tried. There's really nothing that she could do. I don't like that anyways. I feel like it's, not the time or the place for that. But just for people who might honestly be feeling that way, she did try. So let me continue. Until Friday night. So he always answered until Friday night. Law enforcement has reported that his phone was turned off around 6 p.m. on Friday evening. As far as I'm aware, that has never happened before with Travis. So let's pause here because there's a bunch more. I don't think he could go from being a loving, involved father to murdering all 3 daughters and leaving his wallet and dog to start a new life. I think he deleted himself before they were found. Harlot, I think that he's definitely having a mental health break. That's my opinion. I don't think that he has taken his own life. I don't know why. I don't think he was going to try to start a new life either. And I would assume the same as you, but because they found that campsite and now, I don't know if you were here when I talked about it, but these hikers reported to police that somebody suspicious was out on the trails and they didn't look prepared for the conditions. And when the helicopter went over there, they spotted someone who appeared to run from the helicopter and hide. So makes you wonder, could that be him? But, I don't know. They do need to make new laws. They absolutely do. He did not sign the orders, Kate. That's good that you brought that up. And I saw your comment on the video. Even when they gave him these Friday, Saturday, Sunday visits, he wouldn't sign. He was supposed to do a couple classes and some things, and he never did that. So Travis was exhibiting some questionable parental judgment around the end of 2023, beginning of 24. That prompted Whitney to seek limitations on his parenting time, and she was granted her request. This is when she goes in and she says, hey, he's got my girls staying the night in the armory with, strangers, a bunch of men, and he doesn't have a home anymore. And, he's calling late at night and screaming, or running in the house screaming and there was a couple instances where she named that he had upset the girls. He is trained to survive out there. You're right, Lil D. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I would have thought that he would. I can see why people feel that way. I just, for some reason, I don't think that's what we're dealing with, but I don't know. So it goes on. There's a lot more. Look at all this. So it goes on to say, information has come to light since the girl's abduction that Travis exhibited concerning behavior at work on Friday and had been trying to utilize emergency veteran services to no avail. Please see the letters from our local Veterans Counseling Office for more details as to the state of those services here in the Valley. Unfortunately, this knowledge was not conveyed to Whitney until after the girls went missing, or she never would have allowed the girls to go with him. What many do not seem to understand, or perhaps care to believe, is that there were no red flags that would have led Whitney to have any concerns with Travis taking the girls for his short visitation limited to our region. There was no domestic violence ever. He did not yell at the girls or abuse them in any way. He was an active and loving father until he wasn't, and no one knows when that changed. To blame Whitney, the courts, or the state CPS is folly. It is also cruel and does nothing to help Whitney or our community. Now, I think that there's some blame on maybe the courts and the state in general. In my opinion, the laws need to change. The fact that these girls go missing and they could not be they didn't put it out as an Amber Alert. They did an emergency endangered missing persons alert is what it's called, not emergency. And those alerts do not go out on cell phones. Not that it would have changed anything, but we don't know. An Amber Alert goes out on everybody's cell phones. I know you guys have been sitting at home, hear your phone go off, and there's an Amber Alert somewhere nearby. It happens to me too, so that would have happened, but it didn't, unfortunately. The VA, there's a big problem. Our veterans do not get the care they deserve. I said this in my last live, but at the end of the day, like little children and veterans or any public servant, those are the people that we got to look out for. Like that's at the top of the list. Of course, elderly people, vulnerable people, those things are also at the top of the list, but our veterans and the children, no. Things need to change, but let me continue with this. So she said, Whitney has 3 things pushing her forward at this moment. 1, she wants the memories of her sweet baby girls honored. 2, she wants the Amber Alert system fixed in Washington state to prevent future tragedies such as this one. And 3, she wants the mental health resources for veterans to be fixed. As Whitney has said, the system failed us all, referencing the services for veterans in the Amber Alert system. And I agree with that. I totally, wholeheartedly agree. Task force. I don't know what that's about. It says our community is devastated by this unimaginable loss. In an attempt to turn something tragic into action, we are working on, it's about the task force. Sorry. We are working on commissioning a task force of local attorneys and interested individuals to take a look at the laws surrounding Amber Alerts, as well as mental health resources available in the Valley for veterans. If you have further questions on this and how you can be involved, please contact help@actionfordeckergirls.org. That is awesome. If you're in the area and you want to help, you can contact help@actionfordeckergirls.org. The task force will be creating a website and social media accounts in the coming days. Decker's lawyer also included a statement from Central Washington Veterans Counseling. They said if Travis had come to Central Washington Veterans Counseling seeking services within the last 6 months, we would have had no choice but to refer him to the Vet Center for biweekly in-person sessions, possibly supplemented with telehealth, or place him on a wait list due to the lack of funding to support veterans in this area. Meanwhile, we are still without sufficient alternative resources. I can't help but wonder how many veterans in our community might want to seek mental health support, but don't even try because they know there are no therapists available at the VA clinic. Central Washington Veterans Counseling is unable to take on new clients due to funding constraints, and community providers are booking 6 months out. This isn't a hidden crisis. We've been vocal about it in the media and with local, state, and federal officials. If we don't get a 3-month extension by the end of this month, we will be discharging 100 veterans as of now from our services. We warned them that we had reached a critical point. We told them lives were at stake. They did nothing. And that right there is just absolutely pathetic and sad, is it not? I mean, my God. Because of funding. It's pretty crazy because we seem to be able to fund a bunch of bullshit. This country pays for all kinds of shit. I guarantee you in that big, beautiful bill, whether you're on the right or the left, I don't care. I don't trust any of them. But no matter what, whether it's a bill that the right has mainly put together or the left, there's always hidden stuff in there. We're funding shit overseas that none of us really even know what it is or have a care for our tax dollars to go to it. It's pretty sad that we can pay for that shit, but not give extra funding to the veterans who might be in a mental health crisis. Oh my God. MK, thank you. Thank you for gifting 5 memberships and welcome to the members. Thank you, MK. We have to do our members only. I think we'll do it tomorrow because I had the dentist appointment today and my nerves were absolutely shot. That's why I wasn't on here, but I still want to do it. But thank you, MK. But yeah, that's a fucking problem. Excuse my language. When we can fund all kinds of other stuff, but nope, not the veterans, not helping veterans. No, nope. There is, and it's BS. We should take care of our own first. Yeah. I don't think it's lack of funding, it's bureaucracy. Well, this veterans, let me go back to it. Central Washington Veterans Counseling, they are claiming that they don't have enough funding. But in the VA is the similar story, it is bureaucracy, in my opinion, some of it, but these folks, are the ones saying lack of funding, not the politicians. But major problem, one of the first things that was cut. I didn't know that. Yeah, I just yeah. J Rose says let's not mention critical funding continuously being cut currently. I don't know, man. It's just it's a big problem. But okay, so let's go back to this article because I wanted to go over some of this stuff after we heard the video. Which, by the way, I got to tell you guys, the whole press conference and anything we've played, I can hardly hear. These damn headphones, like I had to move it off one of my ears so I can even hear myself to speak. But the whole time it was playing, like every other word was cut out. So couldn't hear shit. But okay, so by the way, you guys, tonight at 8:30, I'll be over on Melissa Jade's because we're going to get back into the Casey Anthony trial. And it's going to be her another ex-boyfriend, and it's going to be a longer one. We'll be there for at least an hour and a half or longer. But Yeah, so you guys should come over if you're interested. Hey, girls, Nana. I have 3 uncles and 1 aunt who served, and even just medical care is shady. That's the truth. People, the VA is basically like a horror movie, a horror story. Yep, it has been cut. My friend works in mental health services. Hey, Kathy. Kathy ain't got time for BS. But that's bullshit. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. I hate that woman with a passion. Oh, and we'll also talk about what else she's putting out on social media, Casey. But okay. Takes forever at the VA. Yeah, it's a problem. Everybody I know who goes there has many complaints. But okay, so back to this part. This says Decker was an infantryman in the U.S. Army from March of 2013 to July 2021 and deployed to Afghanistan for 4 months in 2014. He has training in navigation, survival, and other skills, authorities said. He once spent more than 2 months living in the backwoods off the grid. So here's the thing for me. This man devotes many years to our military. He's deployed to Afghanistan, which, after 9/11, I mean, my brother, one of them was in the service. They're friends. Like many people you guys know, I know, probably were sent to Afghanistan. That was so scary. Do you guys remember the videos of the Taliban, taking people's heads off and posting it online and stuff? It was horrific. So these men and women are brave enough and go right into that, into ground zero. And the least we could do is freaking make sure the mental problems that they might have, and even if I don't care, really, honestly, it's irrelevant about any problems. Like, not that it's actually irrelevant, but for this argument, it's irrelevant about the problems they may have had going in. Because even if they did or didn't, after the things you see over there, you probably will. I know that one of my mom's friends who was a truck driver, she talked to me about having to run over kids because they didn't know if they run out in front of the car with, bombs and stuff. It's horrific what these people do to protect us and so that we can continue on to live lives of freedom. The issues that they have from that, I mean, my God. I understand not wanting the government to spend money on bullshit, but this is like important shit. And it seems to me like it's like common sense that we should be responsible for helping. I don't know. I'm sorry, Tess. Yeah, she said that I don't know if it was either hit it like with the vehicle but having to do whatever you have to do to try to make sure you and your team make it out of there alive. And sometimes it's really tough stuff that nobody wants to do. Nobody. They are scarred for life. It's hard to come back and find normal. Yeah, they did have kids. It's like it's like a horror movie, and these people are brave enough to go into it. And I don't know. Like I said, it should be common sense. It's a problem. Y'all are going to get sick of me talking about it. Every time we talk about this case, I'm going to talk about it because until something changes, I think we have to. One time I was in the hospital emergency and an Army guy was next to me struggling with what the force put him through psychologically. Why they do this? Why they break them? KK said. Johnny, don't upset the host, please. Warning, firecracker. I feel like Christine, I have to. Sometimes, I don't know. There are certain things that I just become passionate about. And then once case, like you won't get me to shut up. I don't know, and that's just where I'm at. But okay, so it goes on to say that this was I talked about this in the beginning, but this was super interesting. Authorities said they believed they spotted Travis near a remote alpine lake in Washington state after receiving a tip from hikers who said they saw a lone person who appeared to be ill prepared for conditions. The sheriff's office said in a post on Tuesday that tracking teams responded immediately, and a helicopter crew spotted a hiker near the lake in a popular Cascade Range backpacking area called the Enchantments. The hiker ran from sight as the helicopter passed. And we just heard in the press conference that they have found things that lead them to believe it could be Travis. Authorities did not say when they spotted the subject, but late Monday they issued an alert for residents in the Ingalls Creek and Valley Hack community to lock homes and vehicles and be on the lookout for Decker. The sheriff's office has deployed specially trained tactical teams, officers who routinely operate in high-stress remote environments along snow-covered slopes and steep ridges. They're supported by off-road utility terrain vehicles on Forest Service Road, allowing deputies to cover ground too rugged for conventional cars. So they're up there on four-wheelers and stuff like that, which is awesome. They'll be able to get to places they could not walk to and they couldn't get to in their vehicles. It also says unmanned aerial drones launched at dawn and flown well into the night scout areas where he might be hiding. And I think that this would be what might have like the heat. Oh, Jenny was talking about it earlier, where you can detect like heat from maybe a living, breathing thing. Meanwhile, K9 teams follow faint tracks toward Ingalls Creek trailhead. Deputies report round-the-clock shifts and temperatures swinging from near freezing at elevation to 90 degrees in valleys, underlining the environmental extremes of the search. So I do think this is important. If you live anywhere in the area, residents, cabin owners along Highway 97 and Blewett Pass are encouraged to lock your doors, monitor your cameras, report any activity. And like he said in the press conference, even if it's a stolen hammer, report it, because you don't know. Maybe at the next place they find a hammer with other stuff that makes them think that it was Travis. There's a $20,000 reward. You can report tips at usmarshals.gov/tips or 1-800-336-0102. So then the press conference, do not approach him. He is considered armed and dangerous. And yeah, we'll be watching to see what happens. I hope that more people will speak out that worked with him. They said, we learned on Friday he had some unusual behavior. Got to take a nap for work tonight. See you later. Okay, Seven Lilies, thank you for being here. I still question why they didn't deploy the dogs at that sighting. I don't know, Jenny. That's a good question. And maybe they did and we don't know. Hey, Guilty of Crime. Thank you for covering this. Prayers for the 3 girls. Oh my God. So I didn't realize till today, B. Crumb sent me just a little sidebar. Stephen Stearns, because Guilty of Crime covers Stephen Stearns a lot and has talked with his parents and stuff. And we've went over some of those interviews, and there's more that I've wanted to go over, but I haven't. But the sheriff that was arrested, there was a sheriff arrested out of Osceola County, and it just happens to be the same man who posted a picture of Maddie's body onto Instagram. So when she was found, the sheriff that was running the Instagram page uploaded a photo of her in the brush pile, like in the sticks and stuff that she was in. And I've seen it. At the time, it was like on Twitter and stuff. You don't really see anything. It's from a distance. You can see like her jeans, and maybe, I don't remember. I don't think it wasn't very graphic. but you could tell what it was, and it was absolutely uncalled for, and there's no excuse for it. That is the same guy who was just arrested down there. There should be no boundaries with Amber Alerts. If a child is missing, send the damn alert. I agree. Thermal imaging. There you go. So I don't know. I'm really curious. I hope and pray that it doesn't mess up anything in the case. Let me just show you guys. Since we're done with this, we're going to sidebar, and then I'll let you go because I'll see you over at Melissa's. But I'm just going to do a quick search for Osceola County Sheriff. Okay. Also, executive director was fired. Hold on. Marcos Lopez is his name. So he's been arrested on charges of racketeering and conspiracy to commit racketeering over his alleged involvement in a major years-long illegal gambling operation. Let me show you guys this. This is just not cool, dude. Really, I don't think it will mess anything up, but I don't know. You know, I don't know. No, I didn't test. 250. Arrested for gambling ring, $26.1 million. Oh my gosh. Whitney said she didn't believe he would hurt the girls or didn't believe they were in danger. That's probably why they didn't issue an Amber Alert. It probably is, but it's just since they were aware, the court was aware of his mental health issues. And this was the first time that he had never not answered before. Like, I feel like that's right there should be enough of a alarm bell or whatever. Do Stern's parents believe he I think they do now. Well, you could ask Guilty of Crime could answer that. You can go check out her channel for when they were on, and also I reviewed it because they kind of get into some of that and their thoughts on it there. I think that they have now, and Hidden True Crime, they also went over there and spoke and did an interview. And I kind of took from both that they have accepted that he's the one who did this. But Tess, will you drop those two links for me if you don't mind to both channels so Harley can go check it out if she wants? How about daily conferences with Sheriff Search Daddy? He was definitely handsome. Oh, thank you, Faye. I love doing the lives with Melissa because it's very natural. It just flows. Yes, the parents do believe he did this. Absolutely. They know. They believe he did it, but support him either way. Doesn't matter what the mother thought. Those girls met the criteria for the Amber Alert, Jenny says. Wow. Yeah. See, so that's something's got to change. All right. Let me show you guys. Right. They don't support what he's done. Yeah, Harley. They support him regardless, I believe. Okay. A Florida sheriff is arrested in a racketeering investigation. Who is Marcos Lopez? Florida Sheriff Marcos Lopez was arrested June 5th and charged with racketeering in connection. Wait, so is that the same thing that's like the same exact thing that Diddy was charged with, right? What does racketeering, what could be the punishment for that in Florida? I'm curious. So it was a massive gambling operation and public corruption scheme that generated more than $21 million in profits. The Osceola County Sheriff was charged with 1 count of racketeering, 1 count of conspiracy to commit racketeering, both second-degree felonies. The governor followed the arrest with an executive order suspending him and replacing him with Christopher Blackman, the Central Region Chief for the Highway Patrol. So here he is. And yeah, same dude who posted the photo of Maddie to Instagram. I still don't get that. It's like, were you taking photos of the crime scene on your personal phone? Or, I know it was the sheriff's Instagram. I don't know. I think that right there is a big problem in itself alone. But one of the channels I follow is doing new docs on Stefan tonight. He said all YouTubers were ticks on society. Oh, wow. Really, Lil D? Hey, A for Advocate. Amanda, let me give you your wrench. Oh, no. Wait. Yeah, I can do it. I'm going to turn this off. Whoa. For those of you who don't know, Amanda has been a friend of mine and a wrench on the channel since I started, but she just hasn't been really doing true crime lately. But if you're going to come back in occasionally, I want you to have your wrench. Let me find it. There we go. Callie said he looks like a racketeer. Kelly, would you like my help with that? Hey, Alex Erickson. So Stefan Stearns wrote to me. Oh, wow. Okay. And Kelly said, do you want her help? Oh my God. Well, I hope you will share. I want to know what he says. That's very interesting. And thank you for sharing that. But that's pretty much it. We're done. Whoa. Hold up. Dude, how does a screen have just my backdrop when I'm on stage? Is it because what? That was weird, but we're done, you guys. Yeah, I'll keep you posted if anything else happens, if we find anything else out. And I do plan on covering Stearns and, as when I get the opportunity, if there's something new that I want to talk about. I know that Jen told me, Bendy said that there is a certain date that the judge is going to make his decision about the cell phone. So as soon as we know about that, I'll let you know. Oh, also, I have a request in that I think you guys are going to really be very interested in seeing. I can't wait to show you, but I'm not going to tell you what it is yet until I get it, because I don't know in case something goes wrong. Yes, Amanda. I know. Hey, NorCal Jim. Good to see you. I heard that chick who took a selfie with Stearns in the background while they were walking out finally lost her job. Harlot. I just thought about that. It's so funny you say that, because I remember when the picture of Maddie was posted to the Instagram, like right at that time is when the news story happened about that woman taking the selfie. So in my brain, they're kind of connected. Oh, really, Lil D? Well, thank you for letting us know. Yeah, imagine Stearns calling other people ticks on society. Hey, Stephanie. I've missed catching your lives. I'm usually watching during work or cleaning house. Hope you're doing great. You're the most. Oh, thank you, Stephanie. Authentic person on this platform. Well, that's actually a good segue into, if you guys haven't followed, I mentioned it earlier, but my second channel, Real Talk with Alex, I am going to be doing a responding to rude comments live as soon as I have the opportunity. I would do it tonight if we weren't doing Casey Anthony. I have lots of comments saved up. I think you guys are going to enjoy just hanging out and shooting the shit and laughing at some of the assholes on the internet. And I have some things I would like to say about a couple other things happening. So I think that we'll do it all at one time over on Real Talk with Alex. It's pinned at the top. And I know that Pointer Lover has been dropping it in the chat. Make sure you grab that link and subscribe. And yeah, because like I said, I got some things I want to say and lots of comments I've been saving. Like I'll save them. And once I have enough, then we'll do a live. So I finally got enough. But all right, you guys. It's going to be quite spicy. Yay, NorCal Jim. Thank you. Woofy, I changed it because I was getting lost in the algorithm. Like after you told me, Woofy said that she'd search my name and can't find my channel as a subscriber. Then ATS News was like, Allie, when you're live, I hit the live tab and it's not showing up. Lots of subscribers tell me I'm not getting notifications. Some do, which I'm glad you guys let me know, but clearly shows that I'm out of the algorithm. So I figured with the second channel too, I started searching that and it was doing the same thing. I couldn't find it. So I wanted to just put it back to my name and leave it like that and then make it easy. Even though I loved Real Talk with Amy, I thought that was hilarious. It's too difficult for people to find. So anyway, all right, you guys, I'm going to let you go. I hope to see you over at Melissa's. We're going to be going over Casey Anthony's ex-boyfriend's testimony during that trial and maybe a couple other little extra things. I've got to look and make sure to see what I can gather that's currently going on with Miss Casey. And yeah, we'll talk about it all at 8:30. 8:30 Woofy p.m. When I do a YouTube search, you come up first when all that's in there is Alex. Really, Harlot? That's freaking interesting. You're not getting notified, Christine. When I search my own name, I get a freaking football player. It's crazy. I definitely will, Amanda. We got to talk about that next time I talk to you. Yeah. Oh, I didn't see Harley's question, but yeah, they were transferring him and she snapped it like it was, I don't know. It just looked like it was an influencer, like at a celeb, I don't know, at a red carpet trying to get somebody in the background or something. It was very bizarre, but thank you, Tess. All right, you guys, I'm really going to end it or I'll keep saying goodbye for like 20 minutes. I've missed you guys and I like to chat with you, but I'll talk to you soon and maybe I'll see you over at Melissa's. Okay, I'm hitting end for real.